Good day and welcome to our Swedbank Seedtalks, where we will launch our brand new FinTech report in Latvia. My name is Davis and I'm managing the Swedbank co-creation space here in Swedbank Latvia, and I'll be your host for the upcoming hour and a half. By all means, we'd love nothing more than to have this special event happen in person, but as we all do need to keep safe, we welcome you to our fourth fully digital online Swedbank Seedtalks. First things first, we want to take part in events just like you would in real life by contributing the content and the panel discussion that will happen later on. With that in mind, we have prepared questions for you, so we'd know your thoughts on the topic we will be discussing. And furthermore, I would like to ask you a question for which we will be going to be a certain correct answer. And if you participated in a previous Swedbank Seedtalks event, then you know that the prize will be going to be a very delicious meal, which you will receive by the end of the event. But be as quick as you can, because only the first person answering correctly to the question will receive the prize. So if you're ready, the question is as follows. Can anybody guess how many fintech companies did we gather in Latvia according to the report? I'll help you out a little bit. It is almost 100. So type the answer down in the comment section and I will come back to this. While the answers are rolling in, I'd like to say that just because we all will be asking questions to you does not mean we don't want to hear any questions from you. So feel free to write questions down below in the comment section, and we'll make sure to ask them to our participants at the correct times. And whether it's about the event itself or about the topics we will discuss today. And we'll be glad to answer your questions. Also, right about now, you should see in the comments a link to our feedback form for the event. So please fill it out right after the event so we can make the experience for you even more pleasant for the next time. Lastly, in the comment section, you will also see a link to our Swedbank co-creation space Facebook group, where you'll be able to find news about our Swedbank co-creation space, startup community events, as well any information related to tech and fintech related topics. Join and feel free to share information you think is relevant in this group. As for what's in the store for today, well, as you know, then we are focusing on the fintech report for Latvia at the moment, and I'll give you the highlights of what we found just in a minute. Afterwards, Dennis Filipovs, the head of Payment Systems Policy Division at Latvijas Banka, will give a keynote on insights and statistics for the real-time changes in the Latvian fintech industry. And after Dennis, we will have a panel discussion with entrepreneurs from the Latvian Fintech scene, which will be moderated by CEO of Latvian Startup Association, Diana Davidova. Now that we have your full attention, I'd like to say that the finance industry in Latvia has been growing strong for the last 10 years. Furthermore, the development of in IT sector and our geographic location has made Latvia as a perfect place for fintechs. And for these reasons, fintech is one of the strongest startup sectors in Latvia, with products starting from crypto hardware giants to small payment services. All these things and so much more made it obvious that together with Latvian Startup Association, we should do the report on Latvian Fintech Landscape for 2020. And I'm certain that you're excited to hear what we found out after creating this report. So without further ado, here are the highlights that I wanted to share. But at first, I would like to talk a little about why did we decide to create this event, this report in the first place. So we were inspired from our partners and friends from Lithuania. The biggest fintech hub in Vilnius called Rocket, and they're an amazing team, and they have created the similar report in Lithuania for the last 3 years. And we tried to find something similar in Latvia, but we were not really able to find the data we wanted to. So we decided to dig deep and really search and look at FinTech Landscape in Latvia to see how many FinTech companies are here in Latvia, how they are doing, like who are they in general, what are the main challenges for them, what are the challenges they are planning to face in the next year, and what opportunities can they see as well in the future. So, and much more of that, and we gathered the report and gathered the data and created it together with the Latvian Startup Association. So let me start by showing some key achievements that we found out and I wanted to share with you. So Latvia is positioned in e-government benchmark in Europe. We are ranked as number 4th as well in global ranking for connectivity and digital infrastructure. And the main reason behind this is that we have built a strong base of financial infrastructure in the first place and growing that year by year as well, having a great and big support for the government and other institutions, regulators and companies as well. And as well, we are ranked as number 19th globally as like ease of doing business. We're ranked number 19, and it's quite a good result for such a small country, and it really shows how easy it is to start that in Latvia. And based on our survey, we saw that a lot of fintech companies really, this was the main reason for them to start the business, because how easy it was. And it was based on Latvian startup visa program, startup law in general, that allows easy access to all the information and registration of the companies and creating the business further on. So before we gathered the fintechs, we really asked ourselves the question, what we define as a fintech and what will be included in the report. So we decided to gather companies that are registered in Latvia. The company needed to be active with at least one person in the company working, and mainly companies needed to be with innovative business models and technology that enables disruption of financial services. So in total, we gathered 91 fintech companies in Latvia, and it was quite a journey to really see and look and ask and gather these companies. And as we can see that for the last 2-3 years, the companies, the fintechs in Latvia has been growing. So that's great to see that. And if we will continue with this sector's yearly growth rate, then we can see that next year it should be around 3-digit number, which is very nice to have. And if you remember, I asked you a question on the fintech companies in Latvia, and you had a lot of guesses. And I want to congratulate the first and the correct answer, Ieva Ozoliņa, who answered correctly, not knowing what will be the number. So congratulations, Ieva. Our colleague Zana will contact you and deliver the prize to you. So, okay, let's continue. And yeah, one thing I want to mention as well, that 70% of fintechs are based, HQ are based in Latvia, and then 15% of them, other 50% is based in non-EU country, and the last 15% is based on other EU countries. So we wanted to divide Latvian fintech companies by segments to really see what are they working with, how they are divided, and where do we have them the most. if you can see, then 27% is in lending segment, including SMEs and corporates. Then 23% is in payments and remittance. Then we have 3 slightly equal parts of online investments and P2P, financial software, and blockchain and crypto as well. Yeah, these were the main segment split we wanted to share. Next up, our FinTech map in Latvia. So we wanted to divide the segments to see very clearly which company is in which segment, so you could be able to see that and find this company if necessary. And one thing I wanted to mention here is that if you don't see your company and you're a FinTech in Latvia, then please contact us so we can add you right away. Or if you know any FinTech that isn't here, then as well, let them know or let us know so we can include them as well for the next year's report. And one thing more, you will be able to download this as a separate file if you would like to share or have this FinTech map. Also wanted to mention our progressive regulatory environment. And as I mentioned before, that we have built a strong infrastructure, and of course, a big thanks to our institutions as Latvian Bank regulators, as financial institution. Yeah, basically, main thing I wanted to say is that first of all, starting from historically, that we were the first country from Eurozone countries that introduced instant payments that were approved by Eurozone standards. And from that time on, we have really grown in this. And we have, Latvian Bank has executed, grow this number very rapidly. And now we can see that this monthly, we almost have reached the 1 million instant payments. And there's a lot of different projects and initiatives from Latvian Bank as well that they will share after my presentation in more details, but you will find this information as well in the report as initiatives as EKS, Proximity Registry, and ZBLab++, which has had a really great success. So talking about survey findings, we managed to gather 40% of FinTech companies from Latvia, data from FinTech company from Latvia, and there were small and big companies, there were non-regulated and regulated companies, and they were divided in different segments. So yeah, this was the amount that we surveyed and got information about these companies. So if we're looking into business models, the majority of the FinTech companies are working with B2B business models and mixing up it with B2C as well. And yeah, 29% is pure B2B. Then we have 21% with model with B2B and B2C, 12% P2P, and 9% pure B2C. If we're looking at target markets, we ask, what is your target market? And as Latvian companies, of course, majority of them are targeting Europe, but as well, part of the FinTech companies are looking to North America and Asia Pacific as well. So partnerships with financial institutions, as you can see, the majority of FinTechs uses bank as a distribution channel or partner. Then we have 24% in funding and 21% using partnering with bank as a customer. And 12% are not interested in partnering with financial institutions. Then we have 9% with POC and pilot as well. If we look into funding, then it's really great to see that the biggest part of our surveyed FinTechs are revenued by their own, they're funded by their own revenue, which makes 24%. Then we have 21% for the seed rounds and 80% for bootstrapped funding, which is their own investments and money from their family and friends as well. Then 80% for Series E, pre-seed 50%, and Series B and ICO makes in total 6%. If we're talking numbers, then as you can see, 44% has raised up to 100K, 28% has raised up to 1 million from 100K. And good to see that 90% has raised over about 1 million. And yeah, 5 million plus is for 9%. And we asked about what's planned for the next round, and I love the vision here that we can see the next plans for the next round is 1 million to 5 million for 63% of the companies. More about revenue. So revenue growth this year for our fintech companies were 44% has raised up to 100% and 16 up to 300%. So that's quite a good number as well. Expected growth in 2021 for the post-revenue companies that we surveyed, which makes 74%. They said that they're planning to grow up to 100%, and there were 32% of the companies, and 32% of companies plan to grow from 100 to 300%. So we asked as well, what are the key challenges this year? And the majority of the fintechs mentioned that it's definitely international expansion. And I think that it's not only for fintechs, it's definitely for every company. Testing the local markets is one thing, expanding is another thing. That's one reason, definitely. And secondly, this survey was made during the COVID crisis. So it made, I think, this factor as well more important. Then we have a few other challenges: product and IT development, regulatory compliance, and building partnerships with established players, which all made 37%. Then we asked, what do you think, what is the biggest challenges next year? And as we see the uncertainty for the future during this period, we can see that the international expansion has grown from the fintech opinion. And we have few factors come in. Attracting qualified and suitable talent was one, and expansion of product portfolio is the second one. So yeah, let's see what future will bring us. Then we asked about key opportunities. For example, if I'm planning to open my fintech company, where I need to look, and what is the sectors that you need to be working in to have the most success, right? And majority, of course, chose open banking as the last years. It has booming, and there's a lot of opportunities for financial technology companies and other companies as well to jump in on this train and use this valuable opportunity and grow their business and be a part of it. As well, 12% went to wealth management, 9% instant payments and insurance, and digital currencies and personal finance is an opportunity as well. And 6% for both of those were from fintech companies side. So yeah, this was just a portion of the full fintech numbers, statistics, and you will be able to see the full report right after the events. But I wanted to mention that these numbers, these companies that are growing, and we're having more and more initiatives, and it's really based on the ecosystem overall, which involves a lot of government support, other institutions, regulators, banks, fintechs, other supporters, and community partners. And I wanted to mention accelerators and incubators, which are the first steps towards bringing and creating the businesses, and as well getting investments, the first investments. And yes, community stakeholders giving the support in different directions, starting from conferences that connects people and gives more knowledge about, I would say, everything depending on the conference, business angel networks, co-workings, startup associations, bringing the benefits that you can get on the table and see, and they can help you onboard your company as well, and help for the first steps. And state stakeholders as well. I wanted to mention that the Finance and Capital Markets Commission also participated in a report, and they have as well great initiatives as Innovation Center, Innovation Sandbox, where the fintech companies can test their product and then try it in the real environment. Latvia's Bank as well mentioned, they will mention themselves lots of initiatives and great success building up Latvian fintech infrastructure, and Startin.LV Latvia with a platform where you can get all the information necessary to onboard international startups or helping the local ones as well. So it's all about building and supporting each other, and I hope that in the future we will grow and see bigger numbers in the Latvian fintech landscape. But if you have any questions regarding the fintech report, or you want to join in for the next one, let us know, and we will try to include you and create something great together. So that's basically it from my side. I will stop sharing the screen, and wanted to go further on. And remember, these are the couple of highlights from the report, as we're launching the report today, just right after event. And I hope this information is and will be useful. So feel free to share and share this report with others, and share the feedback with us as well. I guess this should be enough of stage time for me. And with the keynote of today, I'd like to welcome on stage Dennis Filippos. Hello, Dennis.
Hi. So
Hi.
Thank you, Davis. Thank you.
Yeah, the stage is yours.
Thanks. Perhaps it's the first time when someone comes with a bigger pack of numbers and statistics than me. Nice feeling, and great job. For sure, I highly appreciate this opportunity to give a keynote speech today, and it's a pleasure for me. I work at Latvia's Banka for almost 9 years, and the majority of the term I have been part of the Latvian Fintech community to a different extent, indeed, mainly focusing on payment policy and innovation, as well as taking active part in other relevant directions like crypto, blockchain, and one of the recent one is related to artificial intelligence and machine learning in finance. Well, but today I will show you a couple of slides, but it's not a presentation, rather a keynote, just to trying to summarize what challenges our fintech community had, currently has, and perhaps what will we face moving ahead. Well, dear fintech community, my first remark, first of all, will be about the term fintech as such, which in my opinion has significantly evolved in the recent years. Today, the majority of financial sector, especially in Latvia, can be classified as fintech, including innovative commercial banks and proactive central banks. Since legal developments and as well as technological achievements have led to significant synergy between the actors, united with one common aim: to provide high-level and state-of-art services to the customer. I will be frank, while the last couple of years we have seen an acceleration of fintech globally, situation in Latvia didn't correlate with the global trend. First of all, so-called capital renovation of the financial sector had negative impact on the growth of fintech in Latvia. Many companies have faced significant issues willing to establish or to continue the relationships with their banks. And well, it's obvious that non-banks cannot exist in the isolated environment, and extreme growth of reporting burden and due diligence requirement was for sure not the worst scenario for some market players. Second, well-known Wirecard scandal, which for sure upset the fintech world. While investors very often buy an idea, vision, and sometimes just an illusion created by the startup, everyone in this business may succeed and everyone may fail. What is not acceptable indeed is an emergence of bubbles based on cheating and fake accounting. And therefore, fintech aiming to challenge incumbents and existing business models shall be fully transparent and sustainable. One more of the forces to change the rules in fintech is a big tech. Well, big tech is coming for banking, it's obvious, and many large incumbents have already transformed through the series of mergers and acquisitions, preparing for a bigger fight for market share with newcomers. That means that the life for non-banks, for smaller fintech, will become even more complicated, and opportunities, especially to scale, even more limited. Last but not least, as regards to a list of challenges, to be honest, we as a central bank, indeed, we experience a high pressure due to activities of our southern neighbor. And I must admit that Lithuanian approach has proved to be successful so far. The main success factor, in my opinion, is the collaboration between the authorities and having the development of the fintech sector as one of the government's priorities. Well, unfortunately, Latvian approach is far from that, and the activities taken by the Latvian financial sector itself lack a comprehensive support from the government and authorities. While there was a reason for that called Moneywell. Nevertheless, let me provide a brief look into the future, because it's never too late for a fresh start. No doubt, financial technology, so fintech, may bring significant benefits for financial institutions, their customers, the financial system, and the broader economy. Fintech can improve the customer experience, enable, for example, digital onboarding, improve use of online customer interfaces, and a rollout of services and products in more affordable and efficient manner. More generally, fintech has a significant potential to enhance the competitiveness of the European financial market. But from the Latvian perspective, it looks that we have successfully went through the AML crisis, and it is in the past now. I hope that also COVID-19 outbreak, or at least its first wave, is in the past. What is remarkable as regards to last month is that FCMC has granted a license to Mobili, so great achievement by both, I would say, and issued a waived license to Mandala Pay. So even in these difficult COVID times, FCMC did their best to have 2 new licenses granted. Well, for a long period, this is a good sign. We finally have positive numbers, positive tendency here. The next one is a bit complicated because today e-money institutions and payment institutions, they offer payment accounts with IBANs to their customers, adhere to SEPA payment schemes, and use SEPA infrastructures for processing payments. And however, the current approach in the settlement finality directive results in a practice whereby, in order to connect to designated payment system, non-bank payment service providers use an indirect connection offered by a credit institution. Due to tighter AML and KYC requirements, the appetite of banks for servicing non-bank PSPs indeed have declined. This has resulted in some cases in the closing of non-bank PSPs accounts and in terminating their connections to payment systems, and which indeed challenges and raises some doubts about the level playing field between banks and non-banks. I must admit here that, well, it's not prohibited. Perhaps you know it's not prohibited for a central bank to step in and offer non-bank payment service providers an indirect connection. But is it really the fair approach for a central bank to have a high risk appetite than for servicing non-banks, to accept the risk on behalf of one group of market participants and while not doing the same for another? I don't think so. It's a very difficult question. From a central bank perspective, we very much support the necessary amendment to the settlement finality directive, and we ourselves commit to contribute to the revision process to ensure objective and non-discriminatory access to payment systems for authorized payment service providers, banks and non-banks. Hopefully, it will become a high priority activity for the EU Commission. In addition, as Davis has already mentioned, we indeed intend to continue our work on instant payments, our success story in Baltics. And you can get more information in the report on our achievements and further plans. We believe that the instant payment request service might notably facilitate the use of innovative payment services for any use case at points of sale, e-commerce, as well as enabling more efficient e-invoicing and other innovative payment services. They all can be based on instant payment infrastructure available 24/7. So plenty of opportunities for fintech here, in our opinion. Last but not least, in my list, I'm very much looking forward for merging the FCMC and the Bank of Latvia. I truly believe that the synergy of information and competencies can play a positive role in fostering an ecosystem and facilitating financial innovation, while also protecting consumers. To conclude my speech today, so I think it's a time to start a new story of Latvian fintech, to open a new chapter. Would it be successful? I believe yes. I expect it will not be a rapid and aggressive journey, but rather stable, sustainable, well-weighted and well-considered, and very much focused on the value-added products and services. I'm very happy of the release of this first Latvian fintech report, and it's a perfect way how to fix the point we are starting our new journey from. So thanks again, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, very much for your keynote and great insights on the fintech landscape from your perspective. Yes, I think you will need to stay here as we're continuing. Continuing with the panel discussion. And next up, I'd like to welcome the moderator of our panel discussion, Diana Davido. Basically the virtual stage is yours. And feel free.
Yep.
Feel free. Hi.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Diana Davido, and I am the CEO of Latvian Startup Association. Our association is a platform to unite Latvian startups, and we are very happy and thankful to our dear partners and members, Swedbank Latvia, for invitation to jump in this Baltic FinTech report. I think it's very important for community players to actually assemble these insights and communicate them to wider public. So I'm very happy that we can be a part of it. Our association unites well over 70 members, and I'm happy to welcome actually all of our association members as the members of the panel discussion today. So if I can have our dear panelists, Uldis, Toms, and Daria on the virtual stage here with me. Fantastic, I think we can see everyone. Without any further ado, I would like to give a short intro to each one of you. So please just give out your name and the company you represent and just a sentence or two of what you're doing, and then we'll start off with the panel discussion. Why would maybe Uldis, you can start.
Yes, hello everybody. My name is Uldis Tērautkans and I'm the CEO of the Globatex Group. And what we do is a combination of fintech and crypto, and we have different business lines, and the key ones being a e-money institution from Lithuania, talking about the previous presentation, and also a cryptocurrency exchange. So we are on the cutting edge of fintech.
Awesome, thank you. Toms, can I ask you to continue?
Yeah, hi everyone. My name is Toms. I'm founder and CEO of JFApp, and very shortly, JFApp is a loan brokerage solution, and that's operating in Southeast Asia, but almost all of our team is here in Riga, Latvia. We're live in Vietnam right now with the first 100,000 users in the first year, and expanding to Indonesia in the upcoming months.
Awesome, thank you. Daria? Would you care to step in?
Yes, thank you. Hi, nice to see everyone here. So I'm Daria Vina. I'm the CEO of Krastula. We're a cloud-based white label banking platform. We work mainly with licensed financial institutions, helping them to launch their banking products, their payment products, currency exchange products. So we're a platform which provides them everything to launch their business in Latvia or in Europe or elsewhere in the world.
Thank you, Daria. Thank you, everyone, actually. So within the next 30 to 40 minutes, our aim is to really explore everybody's stories. How did you come in the world of fintech? What are the main challenges that you have encountered, and maybe outline some trends that we have in common within the companies. Also bring out the diversity of thought, because all of you are running very different businesses, although they are under the common theme of fintech. They're operating in very different sections, as well as in different markets. So we're going to explore the details of that. And we're going to conclude with, the classic remarks about how COVID has changed the life in this year, and finish off with some advice to future founders. So with having this outline in mind, I would like to ask each one of our dear panelists to share a little story of how did the company come about. If you can really briefly maybe describe, why did you decide to start this company? How did you get the problem insight, and how did the company came to life? So if I again can start off with Uldis maybe.
Okay. So actually, the project started quite a few years ago, and took a few years to actually go live, because it was such an ambitious and large-scale project and required such infrastructure. So we started out in Latvia, because the founding team was from Latvia, and that was basically the main reason. And the initial work was just development and also some business development. So it didn't really matter where in the world the business would be. But as of course the company grew and the product came to life, we had to look how to actually run the business and organize the business. And in fintech, the main challenge is regulation. And at that point, basically, we were taken outside of Latvia, because we didn't see that the environment here is fit for such a initial business of cryptocurrency exchange. And then we went to the UK to do the operations there. And then one of the biggest challenges that crypto businesses have is banking relationships. So So in the process of trying to fix that challenge for ourselves, there was a big fintech push in Lithuania, and we were invited to become a licensed e-money institution in Lithuania, which we did. And after some quite thorough process, received the license. And also at that time, the Bank of Lithuania created the central link system and allowed for e-money institutions to bank directly at the central bank and issue IBAN accounts without the intermediaries of commercial banks. So we decided that why do we only need to solve this problem for ourselves? It's a problem for everybody, so we should make it into a product. And that's how actually our business focus switched from the exchange as a primary to a secondary product, and to payments and banking as the main. And that's what we are today. Our team is half in Riga, half in Vilnius, and growing strong.
Fantastic, thank you. And if you take a look at the market itself, I mean, cryptocurrency has been a very hyped market a few years ago. How do you see it developing in the last few years, and what's your outlook for the next year with the cryptocurrency market?
Well, there was a major roller coaster in 2017 and 2018, which I think was a kind of a purge in terms of what happened with the projects and the businesses, because it's a big challenge when you raise a certain amount in cryptocurrency, but then you have to do something with that cryptocurrency, and it suddenly, for example, in a couple of months loses 90% of its value. Then it's hard to actually fulfill your plans, and also there was a big problem with people raising money on the back of a PowerPoint presentation. So it's I think it has resulted in kind of cleaning out of the resilient companies from the, let's say, opportunistic ones. And overall cryptocurrency is growing, adoption is growing. Yesterday there was an announcement that US bank regulator allows US banks to custody crypto. So I mean, there's big news coming out now, very frequently. So it's exciting times for the industry.
Yes. Awesome. So it's a good ground to be optimistic at this moment, right? It's not that the good times are behind us, right?
No, it's all ahead. Buy Bitcoin.
Awesome. Yep, buy Bitcoin. Hodl, right? Great. Thank you, Aldis. We're going to get back to you in a second, but I just want to give an equal opportunity to speak out to all of our panelists. So can I ask maybe Daria to share your founder story very briefly, and then I'm going to follow up with any follow-up questions if I have any.
Yeah, sure. So although Crossflow brand has started in 2017, we were starting in 2015 actually, and we came up with the merchants payment system. We were servicing merchants, providing them with payment systems. But it appeared that our product made bigger interest among the license company. We started to get requests from the license company. They said that, hey guys, we have license, we have everything, but we do not have a technical product. Please show us what you got. We're one of the rare companies which didn't have to guess, which didn't have to make a hypothesis, because our customers came to us and asked us for showing them the product, if we can do that as a white label, if we can do that as a platform. And we started to rebuild in 2016. We started to rebuild the platform in order to be able to provide that to the other companies. Again, we are one of that rare companies who didn't attract any sense of investments. We are either put our own money, or our customers supported us with funding for developing new products, and that's how the platform grew. Starting in 2017, we've made a total rebranding. We were ready with the platform, we were ready with architecture, and we were able to start building not only the payment services, but the banking services as well. And then the principle and the vibe which was on the platform was that we started to get requests from the customers. We were developing the platform according to those requests, and at the end, we've got the full range of products which were requested originally by customers, by our customers, and they've got requests from their customers what they would like to see on the platform. That's why we have payment products, we have accounts, we have card issuing, we have exchange, crypto exchange as well. And we're able to support that with the technology today. Right now, when we are a mixed company where we are providing both the solutions which are already made, plus the solutions which are requested from the customers still. We can also focus on growing the integrations and growing our expansions to the new markets, because today we're the company which works in the UK or in Europe, but we get lots and lots of requests, for example, from the US, from Australia, or from Africa. So for us, the path is known that we will be expanding with the same product, with a different product on a different market.
Got it, thank you. And last but not least, can we ask Toms to share his insights on building the Jeff app?
Yeah, gladly. So again, to start off with Jeff app, we are building a loan broker, and we are doing that for solely for the region of Southeast Asia. And this whole journey actually started a few years back. So before starting out with Jeff, I was employed in, first of all, peer-to-peer investment, and then in digital lending sectors in Spain and in other European markets, and that kind of opened the opportunity working for an international company to see how financial services are done in other markets around the world, and that's when actually I got the ground floor opportunity to see how things happen in Asian countries, and how in the purest essence of the word, crazy the differences are. That when you think about it in terms of numbers, just about every third person in Southeast Asia has a bank account, and even smaller proportion of those people have a legitimate credit history, and those are two key sources that practically any bank in a developed market would look at to understand. I want to give a consumer loan, or I want to give a mortgage loan, or any other kind of financing to any given person. And so, yeah, it's really a very interesting situation. What do you do then? Starting to investigate that deeper, what became crystal clear is that you have to try and extract value from the data sources and the digital footprint that the people actually do have. And here we are talking about all the data that you have in your social media, starting from whether you're an actual person with actual friends on Facebook, ending with what activities and how often you take. We can talk about data sources like telecommunication data, alternative payment wallets, even your ride-hailing apps, of course, the metadata in your device. And that's actually how a lot of lenders try and service new customer segments in countries like Vietnam and Indonesia. And so, yeah, when kind of grasping the whole idea and combining the problem with the knowledge that I had acquired over the years, and combining it with the fact that Asia is a massive market. It's like, hundreds of millions of people in any given economy that we're looking at, pretty much there, and it's rapidly growing. We kind of understood that this is too big of an opportunity to be missed out on. And essentially with Jeff app, what we're doing is, it's number one, we are interacting with the people that are looking for money in a form of chatbot. So it's not just another sign-up form. Jeff is your virtual best friend to find financing, and then with Jeff you can not only tell your phone number and contact details and basic stuff like that. You can plug in those alternative data points from your social media, your phone, from other channels, and then we become this loan broker that not only can drive people looking for money to any given bank or lending company in Vietnam or Indonesia, but we can bring them clients with additional data around them. And this really opens new ways to provide financial services, to start servicing new client segments. And we basically exit this zero-sum game of being just a broker. And we are looking to build a sustainable service that at the end of the day enables new people and new banks to form new partnerships.
Thanks. And given that your clients are in Southeast Asia, why did you choose to actually operate the company from Latvia? Wouldn't it make sense to just move to Vietnam and do it from there? What's the rationale behind being based here?
Yeah, so one of the ways there's a good book from world famous startup aficionado, I would say, Ben Horowitz, when he puts it in the way that people, product, and profits, and in the exact order. When you think about people, really. I can speak with confidence about fintech, but probably that's more and more industries. In Latvia and in Baltics in general, we have a lot of great talent, especially if you look at it from the angle of price per value. If you would look from my experience, I can tell in Barcelona, where I was living for quite a while, I would pay twice the salary for a professional that's comparably less qualified, less experienced, and plainly less capable than most of our team members here in Latvia. And we look at Estonia, we look at Lithuania. They have numbers of cases that companies headquartered out of those respective countries, but their core targets are elsewhere, half a world away, and they've grown to successful multi-million or even billion companies. So there's more and more evidence for real cases to that.
Absolutely, I think this is gives a great bridge to dive into the other panelists as well. And I want to actually understand a bit better. What do you see as the main challenges and sort of threats, even building a fintech company here out of Latvia? What do you see? Uldis mentioned regulation as being one of the key aspects of building a fintech. What would you add to this as what are the challenges in building a fintech company out of here?
I can answer this question first. Ahead. Okay, sure. So regulation is not the challenge in Latvia particularly. Regulation in fintech is a challenge everywhere, no matter where you are, because you're dealing with other people's money. No matter if you're making loans or making a banking platform or you are exchanging crypto, these are other people's money. So this is a regulated sphere overall. The main challenge for doing business from Latvia, I would say, is that you have to focus on external markets, because the internal market is particularly small. And if you want to grow big, you will have to understand and plan to grow big from day one. This is the challenge, but this is also an opportunity, because you have to understand that you have to build the international team from day one. You have to address the problems which appear with your clients, which are not only from Latvia. As I said, as well as this is a challenge, this is an opportunity. And also all the people here, not all, but in the fintech sphere, the people have this mindset that you have to grow big. And they have this understanding, they have this mindset, and you kind of have the community of people who are on the same wave as you are, and they can share their experience, or they can share their pains, and then you can learn from each other.
Absolutely, community plays a big role in these. And anything to add from you guys?
Well, I'd say that one of the biggest challenges is actually one of the biggest assets, right? So the people that are here in Latvia. So if I would have to tell somebody like why start a business in Latvia, then the main reason would be we have historically big financial sector compared to our country. So there's many people with knowledge in financial sector and with ambitions to build businesses in financial services. And there's still quite a lot of people interested working in fintech. But the biggest challenge is that we're quite scarce, not only in the size of the market, but also in the size of people. And at least until this year, there was a growing trend of people getting more and more expensive and scarce as the payday industry and the peer-to-peer industry in Latvia grew. I would say the most loudest and the most successful part of Latvian fintech. And then, of course, it suddenly became quite challenging to get the people that you need in Latvia, especially developers and then people for business development. So it's kind of both positive and negative, as now all these people have acquired good skills and can be hired again. But it's one of the biggest challenges, I would say.
Thank you. Toms, anything on the challenge part?
From my side, maybe two things on a more general level to add. So number one, what we've been able to observe here when talking with a lot of people, comparing to entrepreneurs from other countries, and in most cases, that mindset is a bit of an issue. This kind of, in Latvia, I don't know whether it's shyness, whether it's, this sense of if I'm going to tell about my business to someone, they're going to steal it, run away. I don't know, do something like that. We have to break that, and both when talking to potential partners and of course everyone along the way, pretty much, because it all comes down to execution at the end of the day. We've been interacting with a lot of our direct competitors in Vietnam, sharing with them what we're doing, and even quite detailed product specifics. And we've been getting quite a bit of value out of that. They have been, burning some of our hypotheses and excelling some other ideas. And then, the other thing I'd add is, again, we've been experiencing this, what we already mentioned about people, talent aside, other thing is, connection. And, when you go and say, for instance, now pretty much anywhere in the startup world, I'm from Estonia, you already have some, reputation or some associations next to your, label. When it comes to Latvia, in most cases, where is that? Somewhere in Russia or something like that. That comes very difficult when you try to, as an early stage company, to sell the value, sell the credibility, and I don't know. To me, it's this comes all just traction through years of track record. Us as an industry, putting Latvia as a country on the map and building the name for it.
Absolutely. I think actually FinTech is doing a good job of putting Latvia on the startup map in the world, because we are arguably one of the sort of the startup lands in this behalf. But all the challenges you mentioned in big ways, they're not only niche to FinTech, they're actually very common across all the startup industries, and that's the common pattern that we see among other startups as well, because the reputation, the talent, or the scarcity of the market, these are the common threads in virtually any business. On top of it, in FinTech, I guess it's the regulation aspect that sort of complicates things, and then numerous other elements that makes it a bit more difficult. Diving into more difficult stuff, this is the time to pull out the most sort of popular topic of the subject this year, COVID-19. And everybody's, interested in how did startups survive this COVID storm and the lockdown in the countries. From my experience with various startup companies, I actually see that startups are quite agile and survive the storm quite well. But how did it go for you guys? Did COVID-19 change much for your companies, or was it just business as usual? again, anyone who wants.
I can start again.
Yeah.
Okay. So for us, Cresswell was a remote team before it became a mainstream. So for us, it didn't make any changes of the way we work, because we are used to communicating through Zoom or through through chats. So we always had offices, but offices were like small, a place where you can kind of get a little bit of rest from your home and get a little bit peace of mind and focus and to communicate with the team. However, we were and still are a remote team. So from that perspective, nothing changed for us. And actually being a platform for launching other businesses, we are experiencing demand here, and we actually have experienced growth. We made an analytics for the first 4 months, and it was 193% if compared to the previous period of time of growth. We think that it's because people got more time to spend on their projects that they always wanted to have, but they didn't have time for that. Also, since we have a lot of customers, for example, from the UK, and the UK has got very extensive program of supporting the unemployed or supporting the business which was struggling from COVID. Those people who had ideas actually have got funding. So for Cresswell, it is a good period of time. I can't complain. The only thing that I can complain about is that we lost that that opportunity to meet people personally, to talk to them, because it plays a big role in closing the deals. However, since all of the world got to lockdown, also that is something that is going through the transformation and not a big problem. So that's our experience.
Thank you, thank you. What about you guys?
Okay, so I'll start. For us, it has been also a very interesting experience, and I think COVID in general has been not what you expected, and still you don't know what to expect, right? So the first day, basically, when I came back from my last international trip, the next day the whole Europe basically was locked down, and the price of Bitcoin dropped by like 50% in one day. And then there was a lot of uncertainty, and we thought what to do. We decided to cut some costs, not people costs, but some additional costs, and to prepare for some tougher times. And then the client activity just skyrocketed, and we were super busy for all these months until July, when a bit of summer chill came in. But basically the team rallied. We worked. Quite onboarded clients in the middle of the night, and did all kinds of crazy stuff due to high client activity. And our clients said that their clients are a lot more active than they were before. So it was very busy period for us, and very positive period of high growth. However, I am not the one to rush to say hop in Latvian, right? So because I believe that the effects of this whole thing are yet to be unraveled, and I have we are all the time, of course, planning and preparing for the worst, and hoping for the best, but so far it has been good. But let's see what happens after a few months of this unemployment and all kinds of bad influences on the economy. What will happen? But in general, people are more at home, more online. So I think digital business in general benefited from this whole story.
Yeah, I agree. And also you have to count the chicks in autumn, right? So we will count them in autumn and then see what is there left.
Exactly.
Too soon to draw any conclusions, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Toms, anything to add on this?
Yeah, from our side. So first of all, for a comparison, as already stated, Vietnam is our main market at the moment. It's 100 million population, and of course you can ask about amount of testing per 100,000 inhabitants or something, but they have just over 400 cases and 0 death cases in the country. So that's impressive job what they did. What it meant for us and what it meant for lots of businesses operating there. The country started experiencing the whole pandemic thing month and a half ahead of Europe. And they went in a total lockdown. Now it pays dividends and the great ones comparing to other countries in the region. But for us, it meant that existing partners that we worked with in short term, they cut down on spending, they cut down on marketing. New partners, especially banks, were impossible to get to arrange a meeting, obviously, after probably 2 months, month and a half, 2 months, and the whole thing, they started taking some Zoom calls, and Facebook and Google marketing was fluctuating like hell. So we had 6-7 times of differences in terms of our marketing costs and key metrics there. So it was a very rough period for us as an early stage company that's still in its first year of active operations. But now what we see, the hardest part is probably behind us, because most banks until the pandemic in Asia were doing the last part of the whole customer journey face to face in order to sign a loan agreement or get your credit card or do lots of other things. You had to go to branch. And then they are looking for, how to go around that, how to, make it fully digital, fully online. And we see that, actually our solution falls in the whole picture much more perfectly than we could have hoped for. So, at the end of the day, we see this is a tremendous opportunity. So let's hope no second waves or nothing, and we can only talk about success for business from here on.
Awesome. That's what I like about talking to startup founders, is that they are so optimistic about everything. You can talk about it in the middle of global pandemic, and they will find it as a room for growth and opportunity. So this is just great, really, guys. Taking a little bit of a pause.
One funny story. I guess it might be common to other companies as well, but we actually hired people remotely, which was something that I didn't imagine happening before. So it was in June, I think, when we started coming back to the office, when some of our 2 new team members actually met the other colleagues for the first time. So it was quite funny experience doing it full remotely.
We did the same, actually, and what you yourself mentioned before, Old, is that a lot of the companies that have been riding the wave of success faced some tough times. Actually, a lot of really great talent freed up, and we took great opportunity of that situation for sure.
Yeah, same for us. And also, what I wanted to mention is that we as a company, we work with other fintechs, so our clients are other fintechs. Some of them are doing good, some of them are doing great, and some of them are doing not very good. But those who are cutting the salaries, who are cutting the expenses, they still are planning growth. So they're still working on new projects with us. Although they are cutting, they're trying to get as low price as possible, and to move as quickly as possible. However, they're trying to find a way to find a new revenue stream together with us or without us to save their business. So they're not depressed, and this crisis is not connected to depression in any way. Versus they're trying to do as much as possible to prevent the company from being closed.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll take a bit of a pause here because we're drifting to the sort of ending 10 minutes of our discussion, and I want to address our viewers online. First of all, I want to encourage you to ask questions to our dear panelists on the comments section on Facebook. So if you have anything you want to ask, this is the right time to post it in the comments section. And secondly, we also want to learn more insights about who is watching this live stream. So if you are working in a fintech operating in Latvia, please mention that in the comments section below and share some insights. How did your company go about in the COVID or just general operations during this year? We're happy to learn more about what is going on in the fintech landscape, also aboard of this, a part of this panel as well. So please don't be shy and mention your experience in the comments section. I have one last question that I want to ask to everyone before we dive into hopefully some of the questions in the audience. Generally, always the audience is eager to know what is the next big thing in fintech? What are going to be the trends, or what do you see popping up in technologies and in companies that's going to be the big thing over the next 2 to 3 years? So if you could share just a couple of predictions or trends to your mind, what's going to be big in fintech over the next 2 or 3 years? Maybe Tom, so we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. So number one, of course, I have to say it's use of alternative data, financial inclusion, and financial services becoming personal, because that's what we stand for here at Jeff. That's what we advocate, and we see no different possible scenarios that these things are going to be big and even bigger in the years to come. But two other interesting things were that number one, just a few days ago, I saw this. Like a joke, like an image called a meme or whatever you want on the internet, that a person was checking out in one of the bigger e-commerce sites. I don't remember the name. And you had 15 different widgets of the payment solution you can use. So maybe, Daria later on can expand on that. But, that's definitely a poor user experience, and then there's definitely some room for that to be improved, because payments is obviously a massive sector. And number two, it's going to be very interesting in the next 5 to 10 years to see how these companies that some around the world call tech fins will enter the space. If you think about it, if you look at it, there are already movements. Facebook converts just less than 1% of their user base to banking clients. They're top bank in the world. You see, payment cards coming out from Apple. It's going to be very interesting to see how these international monsters with hundreds of millions and billions of users are going to enter the financial services field, and yeah, it's very, very hard to make some more specific predictions or guesses, but it's going to shake up the space pretty massively, I gather.
All right, thanks. Daria, anything to comment on that?
Yeah, sure. So I think that next big thing always comes from the current thing. So what is the current thing? You have to wash your hands, you have to avoid contacts and so on. So the next big thing, first of all, will be contactless. We will be getting rid of the cards, of the plastic cards. We will be getting rid of everything physical. So we already have the watches, we already have NFC, and we already have everything which is in the air, right? So contactless. Also, we're all like the founders. We're all always talking about how about the big companies, the big banks, or the big techs. And let's not forget that big techs are pretty. The companies that are being out there for a while, right? And so what they have is legacy. They've been building their solutions for the last 20 years or for the last 25 years. For example, I know the companies which are sitting on their on their hardware for more than 60 years. They are updating, building that legacy. And in each and every technology solution, or in each and every solution that helps to make lives of the users and of the companies better and easier, what we first see is that a breakthrough with a new solution, and then this solution becomes cheaper. So in terms of the fintech, that would be platformization, so that all the banks, for example, or all the big financial institutions can use the platforms, can use the platform stack in order to get rid of the legacy, not to build something on top of that, but to get a fresh new start, to operate not as a financial institution, but operate as a tech company. So this would be the trend from my perspective for the next 5 or even 10 years.
All right, thank you very much. Aldis?
Yeah, basically I wanted to say exactly what Daria was saying. So democratization or fragmentization or decentralization of the financial services, basically. Once there's fintechs, there's banks, there's big tech, there's everybody entering the payment space. So it will be, for the consumer to just pick the most convenient app. The service will be pretty much the same for the core of the service, but then the features will be the one to decide, and some network effect. So I believe that cryptocurrencies will also work in parallel, and not only Bitcoin, but also different applications to be used in parallel, and people will just, if you like, also adding to what Tom said, like if you go to Singapore, for example, there's I don't know how many tens of payment options you have in different stores and everything. So it's already happening there. So I think that it will be just very big democratization and decentralization of financial services, at least in the Western world. In the Eastern world, maybe it's more still about inclusion and building, but in the Western world, I would say it's just about who will have the most convenient product, because it's going to be cheap with everyone and accessible with the same features with everyone. You'll be able to get your bank account from Facebook probably.
Absolutely. All right, thank you very much. The time has passed fairly quickly, and the timekeepers are notifying me that we should end this at this where we are now. So thanks again, everyone, for tuning into this panel. I hope our viewers enjoyed the discussion and gained some new insights about what it is like to operate a fintech company out of Latvia, the practical views of it. So again, thank you very much, Aldis, Toms, Daria, for tuning in. And I think I'll give the floor back to Davis then.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Seems like the time is running out, and I'd like to thank again Diana, Daria, Dennis, Toms, and Aldis for such a great keynote and panel discussion. And I love the insights, and I think it was really valuable as well for the participants watching this. And yeah, let's give you a round of virtual applause. Thank you very much again. And another thank you for participating in the report creation itself. That's also really valuable to have from you guys. And I hope that you will participate as well next year for the creation of it. So yeah, I hope that all of you viewers you heard today will help you throughout the current times. And thank you all, and until the next time. And please find the report in the comment section below or in the description, or just type in Swedbank.LV/innovate together, and you will find the report. So yeah, thank you very much, everyone, again, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everyone.